Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope that you are all doing well. I thought that I would take the time while we are having quite a bit of rain here in Florida and I'm not able to get outside like I would like to answer some questions that have been either emailed to me or sent over social media, or just people I talk to travel in general about have had some questions about cruising that I thought I would bring to you. I was surprised, but the answers I got when asking some of these questions to people that have either cruised or first time cruising was, and shouldn't have been, but was a surprise to me since I have already cruised some. I was like, gosh, that makes perfect sense. That I can understand why you're asking that question, or I can understand why that would be a concern. So I said, let me take the time to kind of cap over the latest cruise video and kind of answer some of those questions. So these by no means is every question. However, some of the ones that come up the most is what I decided to answer in these questions. So let's begin. How much does a cruise cost? It sounds simple to some, and to others I get, is it all inclusive? Is everything included? Do I pay for the food when I eat? Is the drinks included? And it again sounds simple, but when you're asking how much does a hotel cost, you do know what is included there. And just like every hotel is different, some have concierge breakfast, some do not, some have no breakfast, some have pool, some have extra activities. So it is the same with cruise. They vary. The major factors or the influences that change the cost of a cruise fare are the line that you sail on, the cabin that you book, where you travel. Unlike hotel prices, cruise fares are listed per person, not per cabin, with rates based on two people. So keep that in mind when doing that. Some cruise lines offer a single person room rate, in which you can pay 1.5. It is a discount. If you're booking a single room, that would be something you would have to ask either the line, if you're booking directly through the line, or if you choose to use an agent, have them, research that for you and see if that's something that they can do. Trip insurance is another thing under this category that was asked a lot of me, and I myself recommend trip insurance. However, they are not all the same. So when booking trip insurance, make sure that it includes what is important to you. So if missing a port is important to you, if losing your luggage is important to you, if medical is important to you in that insurance, that would be something I would say definitely look into when you go to book it. A lot of lines actually offer a tag on with the insurance, and it's usually one of the main companies that are out there, but definitely don't just assume, look into it and see if that it's something that works for you. What is a guaranteed cabin? A guaranteed cabin or cabins are a gamble that you take when you book. When opting for a guaranteed cabin, you are promised a room in the category that you have chosen, but you have no control over which one, meaning you could be on the 5th floor, 7th floor, 8th floor, 9th floor, front, back. You are not guaranteed a section whatsoever. Just if you have booked a inside cabin, you were guaranteed at least an inside cabin. If you book ocean view, balcony, whatever your category is, you are guaranteed at least that. There are some times you might get bumped and get just a little bit nicer room as they're moving people up if the ship hasn't fully booked, but it is $100 or so cheaper, depending, again, every cruise line is different. So if that is something that interests you, taking a gamble, seeing, hey, where am I going to end up? If not being, on a certain part of the ship is important to you, then take the gamble. That's a little extra pocket money, but that is something that was asked. So I figured I would ask that. I would say the cabins, if you asked me, the cabins I would not prefer or want to be next to, anywhere near the cruise quarters. Has nothing to do with the crew. It has to do with the noise. They never stop. There is always someone working 24 hours a day. So you are going to hear people coming and going. Same with anything, whether you're by the mechanical equipment or you're by an elevator. If you are prone to motion, you are not going to be wanting to be on the front or the back, meaning directly on the front, the bow of the ship, or the aft, directly in the back of the ship. We'll talk about that more a little bit later and go into that a little more detail. Your obstructed views is something you have to look out for. Sometimes it is a lifeboat outside the window. Sometimes it's a pole, depending on the ship. So that's something else that you need to consider. And then some cabins are a little bit smaller than others. It usually leans towards your inside or ocean view cabins. But again, pay attention. Don't just assume that everything is the same. Another question that I get asked and have recently been asked, and honestly just ran into something in regards to this myself, was, do I need a passport? I have never cruised with a passport from prior to, since I started cruising. I can't even tell you how long ago. It has never been an issue for me because I've always cruised as a US citizen from a closed loop port, meaning I started in whatever port, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, wherever, and I ended up right back at that same port. But I also cruised mainly to the Caribbean, so I didn't have to worry about having any other documentation. So everything is different. Every cruise is different. I will say that if you're a U.S. citizen, you can use a passport card as citizenship for closed loop sailings, as I was referring to, cruises that embark and return from the U.S. port to Mexico, Bermuda, Alaska, or the Caribbean. They're less expensive than a passport book. A passport card, though, is only accepted at land border crossings and sea ports when arriving from Canada, Mexico, Caribbean, and Bermuda. So definitely research that on your own, but that is the information that I received. So if you're someone that says, I'm only going to go somewhere if I'm going to go on a cruise, I'm only going to go on, closed loop itineraries, then fine, get a passport card. If you're someone that says, hey, if I get stuck, I do want, a passport book, meaning I can fly out of somewhere, God forbid I was to get stuck. So there is some pros and cons, and that's something that you would definitely want to look into. I've also been asked, are cruises all inclusive? I had never thought about this question. I understand the question, though. Makes perfect sense. The way that you see marketing, it looks like it's all inclusive. So I understand. Cost for the cruise lines is, and what is included basically is your room, your main restaurants as far as food goes, your entertainment, and your ports. Onboard specialty restaurants, meaning some may have a sushi restaurant, some may have a steak restaurant, some may have a specific seafood restaurant, um, different from your main restaurants or your buffet, those kind of things. Those are extra. Every line is going to be different according to what they have. Every line is going to be different according to what price that they will charge. It's just how it is. With that being said, entertainment options are different. Extra charges for obviously soft drinks and alcohol are extra. The mass market, as they say, lines are definitely not all inclusive. When you start getting to some of the luxury lines, they do include a lot more. The price obviously reflects that. It reflects that, hey, we're including, your mini bar, the sodas, the water, everything else is included. But that price will also reflect the fact that it is included. So while the majority of what you do on a cruise ship is included, there are extras. So keep that in mind. Then how do I pay for stuff? This one got me because like I said, I was blessed to have a father-in-law who loved cruising. My mother-in-law, same way. And we had someone teach us. We had someone tell us, hey, this is what you do. This is how it's done. No, you don't give them cash right then and there. You wait till later. I was lucky. I was blessed. So this, how you pay for stuff. When you book your cruise, you're going to put a credit card down that pays for the cruise. It is not like a hotel in that, okay, this is what's included. You do have to, when you get on the ship, make sure that that card is on file. Every cruise line is different on how they do this. Some have machines that when you get on board, you have to go to that machine, you put in that card, you say, hey, this is a card that I'm going to be using. If two different people are cruising, like when my sister and I just cruised, she had her card on her actual onboard card, which is your identification when you're on board. I had mine on mine. So it depends. If you're someone that says, hey, I really want to do cash, then I will say that you'll probably be standing in a long line at the purser's desk or at the customer service desk saying, "Hey, here's the cash that I want to put down on, this particular cruise." With that in mind, talking about how you pay for things, keep track, which whether it's an app, whether it's your in room, your stateroom TV, they add up extremely quickly. Hey, I got a soda today. Hey, I got a drink later. Hey, I went to a special recipe. If you have children or someone else in your room, I would definitely say whether it is the app or the itinerary that is on your TV in your room, I would say check those charges daily. I will also say that mistakes happen. Sometimes people aren't paying attention and, they're like, oh, you run the card and it, for some strange reason, it's like, I didn't buy that drink. So just make sure that things are good. And they do always. Any times that I've personally never had it happen to me, but I have heard that it happens, there's never ever an issue of whether you did or did not purchase something. So just keep it in mind. All purchases on the ship are paid using your cruise ID card. Your cruise ID card is how you get on and off the ship at your ports. You get it once you get to your embarkation, which is your first day of your cruise. You will get an ID card. Every time it scans, it shows your picture and who you are, what room you're in, all that wonderful, information. So let's say I went to the chocolate place on the cruise ship and I bought some chocolate to bring home. I give them that card. They charge that card, which will pull from whatever monetary means I have backing that card. So that is how you pay for stuff. You never ever give cash or a card other than your cruise card to anybody on the ship. If you have a room steward that from the get-go, which we have had, goes over and above just being attentive, kind. If you want to do something for them, they may or may not take it. Great. That is on you. We usually try to look out for the ones that go over and above and we try to take care of them. Tips a lot of times now are included. They will be charged on your trip. So pay attention to that. At the same time, if somebody goes over and above, take care of them. They work very, very hard. Another one is, and I am blessed not to get car sick, seasick, anything. Um, well, I get seasick. The weather, for the most part, I can probably think of two times in all of my cruises that it was, 8, 10 foot seas, which doesn't sound like a lot, but depending on where you are on the ship, it's gonna, up and down. Get my hand right here. It's gonna go up and down, and you're gonna feel it. I have never been seasick. I know people who do get seasick. There is a patch, I think it's called Transderm, that you can get from the doctor. It's just kind of a tiny, like the little circle band-aids that goes behind your ear. And when I first started cruising many moons ago, I did that because I did not know. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be seasick. I don't get seasick, but I don't know. They also have bracelets. They have over-the-counter stuff like travel medication that you can get at Walgreens and CVS. It's just something to help you keep from being seasick. I will say try to take the non-drowsy stuff because I have been with people who it is completely knocked out. I mean, just like they're out cold. And I'm like, you're going to miss this entire trip. So keep it in mind. I cannot tell you that you will or will not get seasick. But when we were speaking before about where you want to be on the ship, as far as not being in the front and not being in the back, keep that in mind. You do not want to be directly in the front of the ship. You do not want to be directly in the back of the ship. You do not want to be in the very top of the ship. You truthfully want to be sandwiched in the middle of the ship. That's where you want to be to feel the least amount of motion. All of the newer ships have so much stabilization on them that it really takes a lot for you to even feel that the ship is moving. Even just coming out of port, it's like, are we moving? And it's like, we're moving. It is that calm. They've really come a long way. But if you're cruising on an older ship, you may want to look into what their stabilization process is on it and think, okay, where am I at on the ship? So hopefully that answers that question for you. Another one is, well, I feel claustrophobic. And I thought, no. But then again, that's me. I have never felt claustrophobic. Um, I am the type of person that needs to be in the front of an elevator. Don't stick me in the back. Don't push me in a corner. I need to breathe and I need to know that I have an escape route. I probably just told on myself. A lot of people don't know that, but I have never felt claustrophobic. You are so developed, you're so included in what's around you that you're never feeling like you're trapped, not even in the room. I've never now I have not stayed in an inside cabin. I'll be frank there. I've not done that. It is on my list to do because I need to be able to answer questions for you guys. However, I've not done it, but I have never ever once felt claustrophobic. Will I be able to see everything? This is where I think a lot of people, especially first time cruisers, make a huge mistake in I have to do this excursion. We're going here. I have to do this. I have to do that. I want to see this show. I want to do this restaurant. Da 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 da. And before you know it, if you're doing, a 4-day cruise, you've blown through your entire time. The time to relax is come and gone. So I will say, plan those things. Hopefully, you're able to go on a cruise in the future. If you're new to cruising, kind of take your time and figure out what you do and do not want to do. I would say that taking excursions is great. It's a wonderful way to see the different ports that you're at. Definitely try to take a ship excursion if you're going to. If you don't, I will say set your watch to the ship time. Make sure that you are getting back to the ship 30 minutes or so prior than you need to be to give yourself time for traffic. You wouldn't be the first person to miss a ship. I mean, it happens. So keep that in mind with if you're just saying, hey, we're just going to go out and gallivant and do our own thing and come back. Um, I think it's great. I'm a wanderer myself. I have no problem with that. Just keep in mind the ship will leave you. Has no problems leaving you. They will only wait so long and then they're gone. Some of them can't wait at all. So keep it in mind. What to bring probably is the biggest question. If you look at the top 10 things that you need to know, the, even the cruisers that have done many, many cruises. I have not been on a cruise yet where I used everything in my bag. It's just how it goes. You know, don't overpack. Whether you're taking a flight, which obviously limits you even more, um, don't overpack. It's not worth it. Relax, take your time, you know, have a good um, amount of clothes for whatever you're going to do. So if you're going on an Alaska cruise, obviously you're not going to need the t-shirts and the sundresses and the bathing suits and the certain things like that. But if you're going on a Caribbean cruise, some t-shirts, a sundress, some casual shorts, slacks, for the guys. Um, every itinerary is going to be different in what you have to wear. Like if you're going to dinner, your 7-night cruises, you are going to have a formal night. And it is not a by choice formal night. It is a formal night. Now, formal nights when I started cruising and formal nights now are totally different. I mean, night and day. My husband and I were speaking just recently on how he was taking a tuxedo and I had this extremely fancy dress and we did not stand out. We were the norm on the ship. It is not that way anymore. Now, yes, there are lines that is, a black tie and they'll tell you it's black tie for dinner. Most of the main just the main lines, the guys need to wear a collared shirt. The ladies, you know, a nice blouse and slacks or a sundress, you're fine. They just want you to respect that it's dinner time and not show up in your jean shorts and your flip flops, just like, hey, feed me and I'm out of here. And if you can't understand that, I can't help you with that, but that's their rules. And I think they've gotten quite lenient so that people can relax. So with that in mind, you don't need to be packing all these crazy things. Workout gear. I don't care if you work out all the time. I know my family has gone into it thinking, hey, we are going to work out every day. You work out that first day at sea, and then you don't work out after that because most, I can't speak for all, but most, you take the stairs to and from the dining room, to and from the shows, to and from the pool, to and from wherever it may be. And if you're on the 5th floor and you're going to the 16th floor, and then you have to go down to go to dinner, and then you have to go back up, and then you have to go to your room, you're getting in your steps, I promise you. Without question, you're getting in your steps. You have a running track outside, that's great. You do you. If you want to, that's fine. Just shoes and that kind of stuff takes up so much room. And see what you know really need. I'm just trying to give you some perspective, if nothing else. A small sweater or jacket. If you're going to some of the shows, even at dinner, sometimes it's just a little cool. I am fine, but I have been with people that are like, there's a draft or it's a little chilly. So always have something, whether it's a throw, like a little shawl or something, um, to have on. That's great. Also, a rain jacket. You never know if it's going to be raining, and it's nice to have one of those like fold up rain jackets that you can, you know, take with you, whether you're taking it to port or, around the ship. It's just nice to have. Um, I would also say have a bag to take to the beach, specifically for the beach, if you're someone that is actually going to the Caribbean, and have a wet bag, meaning, if it's shoes or if it's a shirt that you got wet or shorts, or a lot of them have places you can actually change where you're at, your towel, anything, put it in a bag, some kind of plastic or bag that can get wet to put into your bag so that you're not ruining everything else that is in your bag. That is something I learned after a while that wasn't something that was necessary. I'll also say in packing, in doing this, all that you've got your necessary items that you absolutely have to get on the ship. And then you have your items like, like this here, which is it's necessary for me and all my camera gear. But you know how well, you may not know, but on the ship they have European outlets, which are just your two prong. Um, this got it off Amazon, real simple here. I can put the link in the description for you. So this one will give you an extra port. So one of those European ports, you can put this into it and automatically have extra outlets as well as like some charging ports, which is great. Same thing goes for if you're European and you're cruising on an American port. They have the exact same thing in reverse. So you can use some of those extra ports. You cannot use a surge protector at all, and they may even confiscate it from you. So keep that in mind. That is a big no-no. I would recommend a cup, or something that you can refill on the ship, um, because you can refill pretty much throughout the day. You can go to the buffet and refill your cup with ice or water or the juices, any of those that are included. You can go in and refill that. And it's nice to be able to bring that back to wherever you're at versus having to take a cup and constantly have them pick up your cups from your room. Just a thought. Um, Obviously, your sunscreen, any of the necessities that you're going to need. I will also say a battery powered nightlight is a game changer. Now, some lines have a light in the bathroom, which is wonderful. You can, it's motion activated. You go in and it's a tiny little light. You can go in, you don't have to turn on a light and wake up anyone else in the room. I go ahead and bring mine because I'm never sure. And I leave it in the bathroom. You open the door, it turns on, and it's great. It really is become a necessary travel item for me. In what is considered a necessary travel item, you're going to have your documentation, you're going to have prescriptions, you're going to have things that if something was to happen, I have to have these things. If you are traveling to a port, say you're driving to a port, things happen so quickly.
90 groups coming back off that ship alone.
Oh wow,
So we
okay.
got 90 groups going on today, 90 groups coming off on Sunday. So
Wow.
base your time off of that as well.
Okay.
And we keep running until we bring everybody back.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you.
We go get your bags out here, and then you guys go park the car.
Okay, hon, thanks.
So before you know it, this is what you need to do. You need to park your car here. Here is your information. You're going to be coming back on a busy day, whatever it, may be. You need to have a go bag that is your bag that has a change of clothes in it, because when you get on the cruise ship, they will take your bags before you get on the cruise ship, except for your carry-on. So it may arrive on time. You may get your bag before dinner or before you actually need something out of the bag. You may not. So plan on having a change of clothes and anything that would be important to you, in that bag, so that those bags go with the porter onto the ship. Your carry-on goes on the ship and you're good. Whether your bag shows up on time or not, you're good. So in case, things happen and oh my goodness, you know, this happened faster than I thought. It's nice to just say, okay, all these important things go in this bag. Everything else goes in this bag and I'll get it later. So that when all of a sudden it's brought up to you, that you have to hurry, 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 you're like, I'm good. I just grab this bag and I go. As far as the luggage goes, how do you get your luggage on board? Again, the porter's going to take it. Um, they they go through it, and I don't necessarily know that they go through it, but they make sure with dogs, etc., as it is downstairs, that nothing's in there that's going to be any issues. And then the room stewards, etc., will actually set it outside your door. Um, Sometimes 2 hours later, sometimes longer than that. Usually by after dinner, you have it at the very, very latest if something was to go awry. Um, so it's pretty simple. I mean, you show up, here's your bags, depending on how you cruise. Some lines are different. If you're going to be in some of the higher status when you cruise, you're going to have a different way that they do things. So, but for the most part, I speak mainstream, the majority of the people when I answer my questions. I will also say, if you're someone that has thought about maybe doing an inside room, there is somebody that I follow that I appreciate learning from her, and it's Emma Cruises, and she has cruised in an inside cabin. And she has a wonderful light. It is like a sunrise light that actually slowly lights up, kind of like the sunrise, and helps you wake up because the inside cabins are extremely dark, dark, dark. So if you're someone that really wants to sleep and be knocked out, that's great. But when you open that door, it is extremely bright, coming from blackness to, whether it's the hallway lights or, depending on where you are, sunlight. So that is something I saw that I liked and said, okay, if I ever do an inside cabin, I'm definitely going to have one of those. Um, Something else, maybe a white noise machine or even a small fan. I don't know about you, but some of us have learned to sleep with a fan. So they have battery operated fans. Some of them last longer than others. Um, I have mine right here um, going while I do this. But it's nice to have just the small items, the very small items. Certain things, bathroom spray. I don't know who you're rooming with, but it wouldn't hurt to have bathroom spray. Just something to think about. It is small quarters. There are certain things that, yes, absolutely bring it because they do have a store on the ship, but you are going to pay convenience prices for. I forgot my earplugs. I forgot my motion sickness. I need band-aids. I need aspirin. I need suntan lotion. They have all of that and more at their store on the ship. But you're going to pay, say it's $3 in the store here, you may pay $4.25 for it. So you're going to pay that convenience fee. But I don't know about you. If I forgot something and I really need it, the price itself is, negate. I need the item. I'm glad that they have it where I can actually purchase it. So if you do forget something, there is somewhere you can go and purchase it on the ship. Those were the main questions that I have been asked as of now that I wanted to answer for you and hopefully help you out and kind of check some boxes. If I didn't hit on something, let me know. Say, hey, Tiffany, can you do another video in regards to this, this, or this? Sure, I have no problem answering your questions. That's what I'm here for. I want you to enjoy your travel. I want you to get outside. I want you to, you know, have a good spirit about wherever you're at and support wherever you're at. That is important to me as a person. I hope it's important to you. People who have done videos that, your top 10, I wanted to answer the questions that I have been asked directly on what was important to them before cruising. So I'm hoping that you found this video informational, interesting. If again, as always, if you have any questions, ask away. That's what I'm here for. I'll do my very best to answer them for you. Please be sure that you are subscribed. Thanks for watching, and until the next adventure. See you next time, which will have a
No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen.
pause on the ship. I'm probably going to cut that out.